Hello, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nigerian Political and Social Talks coming from you from a location. And today, you see, I just want to do this like a kind of radio talk show. And that's why I'm actually using this software right here. Because of recent, I was in Germany. I traveled there because I have a friend in Berlin. So he took me in his car. And as we were driving on one of those roads there was, road works activity on one of the road there. So what happened is that we have to wait for the incoming vehicle to pass before we can pass. So as we were waiting, I saw something that actually, makes me to want to do this video today. It was a piece of road that was cut off from the major road because I think there was a pothole on that road. So they basically just cut that part off and they were trying to fill it with a new material. Okay. So, but what I saw there was the thickness of that road. I'm talking about 30 centimeter, if I am not mistaken. And I begin to think about ourselves. I couldn't discuss this so much with my friend because he's that type of Nigerian who, you want to bring any discussion like that, he would just say, now so, there are people like that, okay? He's that type, okay? He don't know how to participate in any intellectual discussion and any discussion or whatsoever. So he's that type. So I didn't want to try to discuss the whole thing with the guy. So but the whole thing was with me, and it was when we arrived home that I actually tried to bring the whole thing back again, and I asked my friend if he actually saw that piece of road, how thick it was, and so he said, yeah, that is Oibo now. The whole thing began to disturb me, because of the way we think. It's not about him, but about us, we black people, the Africans, of course, the Nigerians, okay? Because when you see what is going on today in Nigeria, and as a matter of fact, let me go back to what I was saying before. What I actually noticed, is that the company that was repairing that road was actually Strasbourg. And Strasbourg is present in Nigeria. This is a German construction company with Julius Berger. I saw their signboard, Strasbourg, and I was like, okay. And another German construction company that is actually in Nigeria also is called Befinger. These are all German construction company. But Julius Berger doesn't operate in Germany. I asked questions. They said no. But Strasbourg is very present there. Befinger is very present there in Germany. But what I'm talking about this is to tell you the difference between us and the white people, the Oibo people. Even though it is the same company that operates in Germany, that operates in Nigeria. But we cannot choose that 30 centimeter thick road and construct that for ourselves. Because that is what made us black people, Nigerians. I remember, as a boy, when my father would, try to do something, and maybe it's not properly done. I would say, no, let me just finish it. He would say, no, it's okay, it's done. I said, no. My father would be looking at me and I said, why you always like that? You always want to make everything perfect. I said, but because it wasn't done. And there was this Nigerian guy, a lecturer in the university somewhere in Canada. He was in Nigeria. He lodged actually in one of the biggest hotels in Abuja. And, he arrived there inside the hotel. He wanted to take a shower. He opened the shower. You have these little perforated holes there. A lot of them were blocked. I should begin to use, that shower. Some of the holes actually blocked sometimes. So he called up the man there that is responsible for anything that is not working well inside the hotel. He called him up and said, look, this thing's not working. Can you just change the head? Because I'm going to stay here for about 3 days. And the guy said, let me see it. He on the water, and some water was actually coming, but not all the holes were working. And the Nigerian guy there, he told this Nigerian who came from Canada that it's working, Oga. Oga, it's working. The guy said, but if it's working, why do I have to call you? If the maker of this shower head perforated about, say 50 holes there, and about 25 there are not working, it means it's not working. You cannot drive a car that has only 2 tires. But the man there, he's been living in Nigeria, and that is all he knows. Whenever half of anything is working, it is considered working. Okay? So, but the Nigerian guy who came from Canada was very surprised and said, I think this is the biggest hotel here in Nigeria. He said, yes. Probably their ministers. Even Nigerian president has lodged there and never complained. So why am I talking about this? I want to say something. In case you are following me, don't be in a hurry. If you're in a hurry to, just look at the end of what I want to say, definitely you are not going to be able to follow me. Because, like I said, I'm a man that loves complexity. I like to talk, touch there and touch here. And that's why I love people. Great men, that are like this. Great men who like to talk this way, or that does things this way, in a complex way. That makes you to, actually know more. I don't like things that are very abstract, and I don't deal with any issue in an abstract way. There was this great Nigerian, if I would like to reference this. He was on Nigerian television, I think Chinese television. They were doing this weekly book show, and they might an author also, and they asked him, who is your Nigerian favorite author? He said, I don't read Nigerian books. I don't read Nigerian books because they are too abstract for me, he said. And I look at that guy and I was proud of him. Because, black people have problems, not just Nigerians, even black Americans. It's the same thing. And that is why you have wars. That is why you have conflicts in Africa. Okay? So, being who I am, I was proud of him. Was he tried to disrespect or disregard the works of the Nigerian authors? Of course not. He was expressing his own personal opinions. Who he is. He wasn't there to please no one. He actually go further to say that he loved Western novels, because when you are reading Western novels, you are going to find out that they are very dramatized. It's as if you are in a movie. And that struck me very hard, to look back and actually see what is going on with the Nigerian movie industry. Because everything you see there are just too abstract. Sometimes I begin to ask myself, are those movies actually made for only those men and women who are living in the villages, in order to kind of make those movies in a way that they can follow? I always ask this question. I tried to watch Nigerian movie. I couldn't. Not only because of the way they are shouting, or the antisocial behaviors that you are seeing there that they are depicting in those so-called movies, but because of the mentality of the director. You can see that very clearly. that the man that has directed that movie, so-called movie, is not intelligent at all. That hard efforts, was not put in making that movie. You can see that clearly. Because I want to say something. Movie has criteria. Anyone who has not learned how to do arithmetics, 1 + 1, 2, 2 + 2, 4, you cannot be a great mathematician. It cannot work. You have to start from arithmetics. Whenever you add 2 + 2, automatically it's 4. Movies are like that. So when you look at Nigerian movies, you see, people don't understand. When you see Western civilization, I'm talking about from theatrical, play to the Hollywood that you have today. You know about Shakespeare. Shakespeare play is not just about the physical play there. It has to do with also the language, the rich language that they use for that play. That is what makes Shakespeare great theatrical play. It's just like me. I never actually watch movies just because of the image, but because of what they have to say. That is what entertains me. So when you look at the Nigerian movies, that is not even there at all. It's not there at all. So because of that, they have nothing to offer me. So what am I doing all this? I'm dealing with the Nigerian mentality here. How that piece of road that I saw in Germany, the thickness of that road up to about 30 centimeters thick, has affected my way of thinking. Of course, I'm already thinking like that, try to make everything perfect, but that very picture is still lingering in my mind. Because the problem we have today has to do with, it doesn't matter. We not be Oibo now. But you have to understand that the Nigerian politicians, they want to be like Oibo when it comes to their personal properties. They will import mambos from Italy, wines from France, great materials from Germany to build their houses. But when it comes to something that had to do with government, public, now they are not Oibo. So this is what I want to talk about. We need to change our mentality, because you can't pick one thing and leave the rest and say no, the rest is Oibo way. The Black Americans has made this same mistake. Why you see that their women now cannot be married, and they are coming together try to actually see what actually happened. And before you know it, the Nigerian women are going to have the same problem. Because once you say you want to have your own way, and you know some of those things never come from you as a black person, if you really want to be like true Africans, you know, those days you don't have machinery, nothing. You live a simple life, no television, nothing. If you want to live that life, fine. But there's no way you want to come out of that ecosystem, you know, and you want to embrace the modern world, and you want to come with your attitude, black attitude. It wouldn't work. So the Black Americans were like, and of course the system segregated them, as you all know. But I think it would have been very beneficial for the Black Americans if they were looking at the white women, I may to say, and learn the way they are very humble. You see, some people talk about how, you know, feminism has changed the world. But those who actually started the movement, their goal were to make sure that women are able to work and take care of the family also. That's why when you go to the US, you see some white families. I'm talking about those conservative families. The man will be working, the woman has to be at home. If the woman is working, the man has to be at home. Two of them must not be working. But when you go to UK, where Nigerian parents are working, both of them, you find out that their children are getting pregnant at 13 years. Their boys are so stubborn that they have to send them to Lagos to go and stay with their grandparents. All these are failure of the black people to do the right thing. So the black Americans now, because there are things that the white people were doing. They say, no, we'll not be like that too. I can't go to the beach. I can't go out with my husband and hold each other's hands. All those things. So what you're going to have is your man sleeping with another woman because you never go out with him. It's your woman going out with another man because it's not your culture to go out with her. You see? Oh, you can't just go to holiday. But remember, when you stay in one place for so long, it's going to affect you. What you're going to have? Problem with your husband. Problem at home because you became so tired of the whole thing. Your life became so boring. So that is why when I see people saying, oh, that one Oibo way, I just laugh. Looking at the cars, take for instance, that you are using. These are all Oibo way. Mambos. You want to build a house, you want to have toilet inside. This is Oibo way. You want to marry one woman there. This is Oibo way. You want to tie your road. Everything that you have today, these are all Oibo way. So why do you have to take some and leave the rest? And I was reading something the other day. Now there was this a report that came that actually put the Nigerian woman right there on top of the bar as the most unfaithful women in the world, followed by Filipino women. Everybody know about those Filipino women. And they say you can take a Filipino woman out of the street, but you can't take the street out of her. You know? But there were these reactions out there concerning this report. One Nigerian woman said, oh, if Nigerian women are so unfaithful, why is it that, these Nigerian guys have to come back home to come and marry? But whenever those women arrived there, they started doing something different. We have heard a lot of stories where they kill themselves. The other one say, but Oibo women are the worst. They go to the bar. This person doesn't understand the difference between black and white. I have seen white women who they lost a beloved husband, and that woman said, I'm not going to marry again. They love beloved son and say, I will never be somebody again. Sometimes they go and commit suicide, or they don't want to see somebody again. But a black woman can cry and cry and cry. Next day, before you know it, she's doing something different. That's who we are. We are always pretending. In our religion, you see black churches today, you see people are falling down the ground, shouting. I say they love the Lord. But when you look at the heart of black people, it's so dark. You left Africa, you arrive in these Western countries, they take care of you, your children. But in your country, where you just left, you've been there, you were dying. Your government didn't care about you, not even your pastors, not even your church members. But they say people are crying in the church as if they love God. You see the hypocrisy? That is why I say I don't listen to black preachers today, whether man or woman, because they have nothing to offer me. I live in Western country where I see light everywhere. I want to be identified with that light, not going back and listen to black people that were there when I left there, when I couldn't succeed there. What am I talking about this? It has to do with the black mentality. Julius Berger is operating in Nigeria. Strasbourg is operating in Nigeria. They present that raw sample and say this is what they use in Germany. 30 centimeter thick. That foolish man there with big belly will say, we don't need that. That is Germany. Here we are in Africa. Even though we can afford it. Nigeria have money. Look at 43 million US dollar discovered in an apartment being hidden by Nigerian politicians. That alone could have tied Lagos Benin Road. I'm telling you. But you go there, people are dying on those roads now. Because the federal government has abandoned those roads. So, we could have afforded that same type of road that you have in Germany. But you have this mentality of we not be Oibo now that you are seeing everywhere. I was actually checking out something. There was a photo that I saw. They wrote there the Nigerian Federal Court. I think it was in Lagos. It looked like where the rear cow in Europe. You know, some of those camping area that you can see as you are traveling along Express Road. You know, and it kind of, and they build this court like normal house. But when you come to Europe, you go to Germany, you go to France, you are going to see, especially in France. If you ever visited France, they build their courts with stones, just the way they build Catholic churches. But I see that Nigerian High Court, I was lamenting. Why? They've been limited by that mentality of we not be Oibo. That is the problem Nigeria have today. Because when you perfect anything, you are going to gain in the long run. If the Nigerian movies has been criticized all this while and people refuse to watch them, these people are going to improve. Listen to me. Why is it that since they've been making these movies, no one has traveled to United States or even London to study how to make movie? Go to movie schools. Of recent, there was this movie that was a big blockbuster. I'm talking about 12 Years of Slave, that was directed by a black British. What's the name of that guy there? I forgot the name. And you listen to that guy, you know, he will tell you how he went to a school of directing. How he didn't have nothing. This is story. Black Americans will tell you how they went to such school and their parents were like, if you don't have any movie to direct, don't just return home because I want you to study doctor or whatever. But those guys understand that that is the only way. They came out, begin to make wonderful movies. But you see people coming from Aba, coming from Benin there or wherever. Never been to any school of directing. And they say they want to start making movies and they are making this trash. Insulting the Nigerians. Making everybody around the world to be looking at the Nigerians as uncivilized people. I was actually listening to a guy on YouTube, a Liberian, who is actually based in the US. He was lamenting about how the Nigerian movies are changing, you know, life in his country, in Liberia, in a negative way. Okay, there's nothing positive there. There are people are not talking that way, in such a rude way, using question to answer question that they are seeing every day in these Nigerian movies. That he is very concerned that his people are not talking that way. I understand what that guy was lamenting about. The Kenyan lady, one of those Kenyan women, very renowned woman in film industry. You know, Kenya is very much ahead of everyone else. They produce a lady there, Lupita, who is now a Hollywood sensation. And the lady actually complained about why the Nigerians are always shouting on top of their voice in a movie. And a lot of Nigerians were attacking the woman. And you will never go nowhere. Because if that is the way you choose to do your things the way you want to do it, without looking at the impact that is going to have on your people whenever they go out, then there's no hope for Nigeria and the Nigerians. Because someone have just criticized them and say, you made a mistake there and this is supposed to be that way. When they want to do the next one, They are going to make some adjustment. That's what critics does for a society. That is why when you go to Western world, you are going to see critics criticizing every move of their politicians, of their, society men and women, and what have you. It's very, very important. And never you step back there and say you are a Nigerian, because of that, everything is perfect. Looking at your institutions, nowhere to be found in Africa. Look at the Nigerian democracy, nowhere to be found in Africa. People are suffering. So what are you proud about that you say we cannot talk about? What is it? I was watching Champions League the other day, even the playoff. I couldn't see any Nigerian player in either of those big clubs. Quarterfinal, semi-final, final right now. But those clubs are dominated by great people. France and Germany. The Brazilians. I'm talking about those who export players in Europe right now. Because that's what made them great people. They had to prove it. I have an application here where I actually look at African clubs. In this application, there's no Nigeria here. There's Ghana here now. There's every African countries and their clubs. Nigeria is not here. So what I'm talking about today, it all connects. It has to do with the mentality of everyone, not just the Nigerian leaders. Because who are actually the leaders? They are the citizens of Nigeria. Or are we going to say now, those leaders, they came from Niger? The way we try to blame Boko Haram on those Nigerians and the Chadians, even though we know Boko Haram is from Nigeria. We know when the young boy there who wanted to blow up the plane with shoe bomber, the young shoe bomber. When he was caught, everybody was saying, no, it's not a Nigerian. Nigerian, we don't do that. But before you know it, there was Boko Haram, blowing themselves up. The only black people blow themselves up in the world. Listen to me. Boko Haram is not a problem Nigeria have. It's a part of the problem. Before Boko Haram, there has been corruption. There have not been lies. There have not been great roads and institutions in Nigeria. So Boko Haram is not the problem, but it's a part of the problem. Fulani Hesme is not the problem, it's a part of the problem. They were not the ones that are hiding those money in an apartment in Lagos. That is corruption. So we must change our mentality. We must be able to perfect whatever we are doing and let it be standard. Because I talked about this before. It's like a man who he want to make money. Just like Nigerians. I should know what is going on there. People just, mix powder and everything and just put it together as paracetamol or Panadol or whatever. I begin to sell them. Killing their own people. And if they are caught, they go to jail for that. So why such a man didn't have a dream to study medicine, to develop his tablet if you want to be a businessman? Because that is what is going to make his business legit. And he's going to be a millionaire. Imagine you have a pharmaceutical company. But no, a Nigerian wouldn't go that way. He had to make it quick. And that money will never even sustain him. Because he's going to be hiding, doing this thing. He's going to be arrested. He's going to kill people during the process of doing this dirty job. Exactly what you are seeing in the government. Exactly what you are seeing in the Nigerian movies. Where they are in a hurry. Instead of just go and study how to make movie. Go to directing school. No, they wouldn't go there. Because as long as they have people who are not educated, uneducated population, where those who are graduated are not different from those who never even been to secondary school. As long as they have such people following them, they don't have to worry. But that is not the way you build a country. That is not the way you can portray your people as civilized people. The problem we have today, how to do with our mentality of we not be Oibo. When we begin to employ the Oibo mentality, we are going to get there. We are going to build great schools, great institutions. We are going to begin to embrace intellectualism rather than mediocrity that you are seeing everywhere today in Nigeria. We need to wake up. Let's change the way we do things, and let us begin to embrace that which is good, because it is always good to try to perfect whatever you are doing, because in the long run, imagine Nigerian movies were made that way very perfectly. They went to school of directing, they return back home. You are going to make millions from that. And look at some of those actors who actually passed away. Some of them were sick, they need a kidney transplant, no money. But they call themselves actors. Imagine Will Smith. It's not having enough money to do some, kidney transplant. That is unimaginable. But that is what is going on in Nigeria. They don't have money now because you are not going to make enough money through this trash that you are putting out there. Movies that cannot be sold, where you have dollars and euro. Where are you going to get the money from? So let us stop being in a hurry. Great nations are not built in a hurry. We know about this popular adage that says Rome was not built in a day. As a matter of fact, I would say Paris wasn't built in a day. You go to Paris, you see the wonder of architecture. Almost every house is there. When I visited there, from Germany there, almost every house in Paris is the same. They say design. You look at every street, almost everything are the same. I've been to Rome. Rome is not even like that. So that's why I say it's better we say Paris wasn't built in a day. I watched a documentary about Paris. What is under Paris? The wonder, what is going on out there? The Chinese that were, dunks or constructed, if you will, during Roman Empire occupation of Europe. A lot of things going on under Paris. Then I look at that. I said that we can't even take care of what you can see outside. I'm talking about in Lagos or any big city in Nigeria, where they have to do with light, road maintenance, they have to do with a lot of things that you can see, much less those under the ground. And there are a lot of millions of euro budget for the maintenance of those things under the ground there in Paris. China's canals and the roads here and there, right there to the ocean. So we must change our mentality. If we can marry one wife now, that is Oibo way. If we can build house now, have toilet inside, that is Oibo way. Cars, shoes and clothes that we wear. So why leave the development behind and say we can't develop ourselves? What it has to do with ourselves mentally, or it has to do with our infrastructures. Remember, first of all, you have to develop your mental. That is why I talk about how it is very important to cultivate the habit of embracing intellectualism. Try to always listen to people who are intellectuals, great philosophers. France, Germany, and every other big countries of the world, Japan in Asia, they have numbers of intellectuals that they can boast of. France is where everything all started in terms of philosophy. They produce the largest philosophers in the world. Paris was built on that. Paris was a place where people had to come all over the world. What I had to do with Picasso, the great Picasso from Spain, who migrated down to Paris to live there. Paris was a country of its own, a place where intellectuals have to meet and exchange ideas. So until we begin to understand all of that, we will go nowhere. And this is what I want to talk about. Thanks for listening. God bless you. Thumbs up as we continue to do this together until we meet again. Bye bye now.